Good evening, everyone. Welcome to PWOnlyIAS YouTube English channel. How are you all doing today? Hegidira, namaskara, namaskaram, vanakkam. कैसे हैं आप सब लोग? Vanakkam Siddharth. Good evening, Rumpa, Neetu, Sakshi, Anjali, Kamal, Mukta. Good evening, Shafkat, Nishi, Pinky, Monu, Pandey Shivani, Sonali, Mantasha, Raja Durga, Dream UPSC, Lucky Sinha Pratik, Shantana, Arshi, Achal. I'm fantastic, Achal. Srimati, Dreamy Vibes by VP, Iruba Karan. Class 10 students, shall I start preparing for UPSC? Focus on your 10th standard, focus on your 11th and 12th. You need to score good marks in your 11th, 10th, 11th and 12th. That should be your priority for now. All right, people. So without any further delay, getting right into it, people, as usual, let me tell you, mentoring whatever doubts, etc. you have, which is not related to the topics here, please reserve it towards the end of the class. Don't disturb the class. There are some genuine candidates who are dependent on these weekly current affairs, as well as getting a few news articles, the doubts cleared. So my target audience is those people. For your general random queries, I'm in 10th standard. Is this current affair enough for NDA? Is this current affair enough for that exam, this exam? Please wait till the end of the class. Please don't spam the entire chat section with your non-topic related queries. As a part, if you're planning to become a civil servant or if you're planning to become a government servant, the least that you can do is to have some empathy, some consideration for the rest of the folks who are there out there in the chat section. All right, people. So without any further delay, yes, this is my Telegram channel, people. You can reach out to me over here for your queries, etc. And just to tell you, I have a Meta verified account in Insta. I'm just telling this because I came across my own fake accounts in Instagram. That is the only reason I'm telling you this. In case, in the event you are planning to reach out to me there, please understand there is only one Meta verified account there. That is my account there. So if it is Meta verified, only then try contacting. Otherwise, please don't. Apart from this, a small announcement. Public Administration in English, UPSC Optional Batch 2026. It is currently ongoing, which was started in June. Those of you who couldn't join it or are planning to join it, you may consider joining our November batch, which will be starting in November this year. All right. Especially if you're planning to give an attempt in 26 or even in 27, you may consider it. All right. It will be in English batch, which means 80% it will be in English with 20% explanation also in Hindi. Otherwise, the content, the PPT, everything will be in English only. Content plus explanation will be in English, and you will have a little bit of Hindi also. I'll be using wherever I feel that, okay, this requires a translation. All right. Coming to UPSC Foundation courses, a small announcement again, considering the fact that Independence Day is around the corner, we are coming with offers up to 61% off. If you're planning for 2026 attempt and you're still thinking whether to join, what course to take up, etc., you can consider the Titan batch, which will be in complete English. And as part of the Independence Day celebration, we are running an offer right now. The entire GS with CSAT foundational batch is available for 8,999. If you're somebody who is in the, let us say, second year or third year of your college, you still have another 2 years left for your graduation to complete, I would seriously recommend you Pinnacle batch. Even if you're a working professional, age you still have, attempts you still have, then also I will suggest you this, because this is slow and gradual. Like how they say, dhire dhire, dhimi dhimi, like that it is. So you may consider this, the price of which is 12,499. It is a complete English course again. Entire GS and CSAT will get covered. You will get access to live lectures as well as recorded lectures. All right. Apart from this, even for those of you, I mean, everybody won't prefer online. There are people who wants to see the faculties in full flesh and blood. Well, we have our offline centers at Karol Bagh, Mukherjee Nagar, Lucknow, Patna, Jaipur, Indore, Chandigarh. We are coming there. Bengaluru. Again, we are arriving in these cities in maximum 1 or 2 months. We will be coming up. Muzaffarpur and Prayagraj. Up to 50% off is there, even in offline fees. So this is the right time, people. Please utilize this opportunity. Now let us look at the topics. Unlike the earlier days, we have only very limited topics this time, and there is a reason for it. Most of the topics are heavyweight topics. Biosimilars versus generics, which we had started off last week, but we couldn't complete it properly. Then we have climate change, we have Supreme Court judgments, we have India-US tariff, we have state of Indian economy, satellite internet, biochar, and defense, which is just for you to read and understand. For your information it is. All right. So, all right, I'll do that, Dharani. Thank you for reminding. Whatever questions you have, which once again I'm announcing it to all the people out there, whatever questions you have which you have not, which has got nothing to do with the current affairs here, please reserve it towards the end of the class. For the next 2 hours, 2.5 hours, we are only going to do current affairs. All right, people. So biosimilars versus generics. Very quickly, let us try to take a recap of this. So small molecule drugs are there for which they have a low molecular weight, usually less than 1000 daltons. They are organic compounds that regulate biological processes by binding specific biological targets, and typically these are chemically synthesized. These are small drugs like your paracetamol, vitamin tablets. All right. Dalton, Da, is defined as 1/12 the mass of a carbon-12 atom, a unit used to express molecular weight. For example, Disprin has a molecular weight of 180 daltons, most common pharmaceutical. What are its characteristics? They have simple chemical structures with fixed forms during use. In other words, it's not very complex. It is pretty easy to make them. All right. Stable, usually orally bioavailable, easy to store and administer. That is the most important criteria here. Just look at your paracetamol tablet itself. You can easily store it anywhere you want. And expiry date is also not a very big issue. You don't require special room temperatures and all. And you can easily just open it up, put one in your mouth, and then take a glass of water. Job is well done. Manufactured by chemical synthesis, allowing predictable production. Again, it's pretty much easy to produce. That is the idea here. Clear? Lower production costs leading to lower priced generics after patents expire. So even to produce these small molecular drugs, what the thing is like, you have something called as patent. And what is a patent? Patent simply means it gives me exclusivity. What does it give me? Exclusive rights. With regard to the brand name, even the colors, the symbol, and in the case of drugs especially, the chemical formula. These things only my company can use it, no other company can use it for a certain time period. Let us say 10 years, or in some cases it can be 15 years. For 10 to 15 years, nobody can touch the brand name, color, or symbol, whatever it is. You're not supposed to copy it. You're not supposed to even confuse the consumer. But with the chemical formula, after 10 year or after 15 year, once the patent dies, once the patent's timeline is over, I can manufacture it. Me being an Indian company, I can manufacture it. So why am I manufacturing it after the patent is over or after the patent duration is over? Because the cost will become cheap. Why is the cost cheap? Because I am not at all spending, I'm actually spending 0 rupees in research and development. Because after this 10 years, what happens is all I have to do is take the drug that is already there in the market. Take the drug that is already available in the market, do reverse engineering, find out what its chemical formulas are, then remanufacture it. So slight change in color, etc. will be there. But does it mean the quality is compromised? Does it mean it's therapeutic? Therapeutic it is called. Therapeutic means, will it compromise on its ability to cure your illness? Absolutely not. So if you go to any doctor, your Jan Aushadhi Kendras, which are out there, pharmacies are there, Jan Aushadhi Kendras are there, where you will get these molecular drugs at very, very low rate. For example, if you're talking about a vitamin D tablet, if you go to a normal pharmacy, maybe it will cost, depending upon the brand, just for 4 tablets, it will cost you 300 rupees. Again, it is dependent on the type of the brand. But if you go to this Jan Aushadhi Kendras again, you will only see the Prime Minister's photo there. Prime Minister's image will be there in that pharmacy. You approach the same pharmacy, for just 10 rupees, you may probably get an entire strip of vitamin D tablets. One, two, three, four, five, 6. 6 into 4, 24. 24 tablets you may get for just 10 rupees. For 4, 300. For 24, just 10. Getting the point here? That is, generic medicine has literally changed the affordability of healthcare in India. And government through these Jan Aushadhi Kendras have also ensured that they are available. But what is the catch here? The catch here is that the quality sometimes is not so great. That is, consuming the Indian generic drugs. Alright, the drugs which are manufactured like this, that is, after the patent is over, I manufactured its generic version. Its Desi version I manufactured. Alright. Either this will not have the necessary quality, or its expiry date is over. These complaints have come on Indian manufactured medicines. And we have had casualties in Sri Lanka as well as in Africa. That is, the medicines, whatever we exported to Sri Lanka, or the medicines or drugs what we exported to Africa, after consuming it, people or children have died. Bringing again back the whole question or the whole concept that, oh, the quality of Indian medicines is not good. The idea behind generic medicine to promote it to this level extensively is to promote health tourism. That is all said and done. We may feel that, oh, our health infrastructure is very poor. But to be very honest, it is comparatively really good when you take Asia as a whole. Cost-wise, service-wise. That is the reason why people are coming to India for their treatment. Even from our Kujliwala neighbor, Pakistan also, people come here for their treatment. Then they will go back there again and then they will say, we want Kashmir. That is a different story. But that is the reality. Clear over here? Moving on. Generics are exact copies produced without original R&D and marketing costs. There is very less marketing cost and research and development cost involved here. Molecular weight cutoff for small molecules is approximately 900 Daltons to allow cell penetration. That is, the size limit is there. 900 Daltons is the maximum size, so that it can penetrate the cell and do the treatment. Correct, Anshika? Correct. Chemists are spreading rumors that they are not safe. Sonali, obviously they have to do it right. So if I am running a pharmacy, why will I sell Jan Aushadhi tablets there? Because I am not going to get any benefit out of it. If I conduct 50 sales or 100 sales, I am not going to get any gifts from the pharmaceutical companies. Got the picture here? So the idea behind this is, even the hospitals if you go to, the doctors if you go to, none of them will do it. In fact, doctors again will give a Kathakali expression. They will be like, generic, I don't know. Maybe it depends on your luck. Once a doctor does that, then who will actually go and take a generic medicine? Getting the point here. They'll probably sell their remaining kidney and go and buy that expensive medicine. Usage. Primary treatment source for many diseases can cross biological barriers and modulate multiple targets. Like I told you, taking everything orally, that is for loose motion or even for vomiting or maybe for fever, cold, cough, for all of these diseases, you generally consume what? Small molecular drugs. Biologics. Large complex molecules produced by biological systems. Often proteins like antibodies or hormones. Molecular weight much higher than small molecules. What are these? Often proteins like antibodies or hormones. These are like your defense mechanisms, what is necessary for your body. You cannot consume it. You cannot simply take it orally because these things are highly unstable. You cannot make it in the oral format. So what you have to do, you have to inject it. Case in point being, in the military, war zone, etc., generally the medic will carry an adrenaline injection. That is, if a person's heart rate is rapidly falling, you need to give urgent medical attention or treatment. You cannot allow the person to go off to sleep or maybe even, go into a state of medical coma. You cannot allow that. So to awaken the person, what they do is they'll take an adrenaline syringe and they will put it directly into the heart, pump the adrenaline there. Why not in any other part of the body? Not any other part. I want it to go immediately to the heart. So what happens? The heart starts beating faster. That is what you call biologics. Similarly, insulin is also injected. Very good question, Rajadurga. Can a company extend their patent? Generally, companies do that. So what companies will generally do is, so they know it is going to end in 10 years. Then what they do after this is, this is their drug, right? This is what the company produced. My company produced it. All right. NRK tablets. Now I know that patent is about to get over. What will I do is, I'll simply make some small cosmetic changes to the tablet. Some very small changes to the tablet, chemically. Very small changes. Whereby which small changes I will make. But the original chemical formula, whatever is there, or that its treatment capacity, all of that is the same. Just superficially, I have made some changes. And I will again apply for what? Fresh patent. This phenomenon where predominantly you are not doing anything, you are just making some surface level changes, that is called evergreening of patents. Evergreening of patents. That is, every 10 years or after every 15 years, you keep applying for a fresh patent. Correct? It is part of intellectual property rights. Got the point here? India doesn't allow this. India doesn't allow evergreening of patents. That is, even if I am a company based out of USA, I have applied for patent and I got it also. That is, first 10 years, I got this patent for this. Next 10 years, I get a patent for this. But Indian authorities, on doing a closer examination, found that there is hardly any difference. The therapeutic effects are all the same. India will not accept it. India will not accept the second patent what has been applied for. India will easily give permission to the generic manufacturing companies here inside India. Go ahead and manufacture it. Got the point here? Evergreening of patents we don't tolerate. We will only tolerate it when there is a change in its therapeutic effect. That is, its effect on the human body has some new change different from the original one. Only in that scenario we are going to accept the new patent. Otherwise, we don't do it. Got the point here? Key difference between branded and generic medicine, if it is asked in an interview. Generic medicines are basic, doesn't involve research and development. Generic medicine doesn't involve marketing. Generic medicine straight away takes off the shelf chemical formula, off-the-shelf chemical formula. That is a technical word to be used there because it is already available in the market. You are just taking it, doing reverse engineering and manufacturing it. Insulin, monoclonal antibody, Remicade. That is the size of insulin. As you can clearly see, it is around 5,800 Daltons. Original molecular, small molecular drugs is just 900 Daltons, maximum size. This is around 5,800. That is the reason why you have to inject it. Characteristics. Structural variations can arise during biological production, but these usually do not affect stability or efficacy. Typically injected. Due to poor oral bioavailability, example heat-sensitive enzymatic degradation. Because, like I told you, it is not at all easy to store it for a long period of time. You cannot store it that easily. You need special conditions for it. So, if slightly the temperature goes here and there, the whole chemical formula will undergo a change. That is the reason why once you take up, even when you take up insulin, when they take it from the bottle, they immediately inject it. You cannot take it and say, after 5 minutes, I will give it to you. You cannot do that. Once you open the seal, you take the insulin from the bottle, you have to inject it to the patient. That is the idea. Agreed. More targeted action, binding specifically to one protein or cell type, reducing off-target effects. In other words, see, there is a reason why people will always say, don't take paracetamol for anything and everything. Or don't take, wait for 24 hours when you get fever, when you get cold, when you get cough, when you get running nose, or even for that matter, loose motion, vomiting also, wait for the first 24 hours. Yeah, it is a totally different scenario if your loose motion is continuous, if your vomiting is continuous. 4 or 5 times you are vomiting or you are having loose motion, definitely get admitted to the hospital. Don't even go for self-medication. But once or twice you had. So you just need to wait it out. First 24 hours, wait it out. Because having loose motion, having vomiting, or even having fever or cold, cough, these are not diseases. These are symptoms. So when you randomly take these tablets, what happens is you are suppressing the symptoms there. So wait for 24 hours first. And if you keep on consuming tablets like that indiscriminately, it can affect your kidneys very fast. But not your biologics. Biologics will have a specific target. They will only go there. And for that, again, you need to inject it at the right place. That is also important. So that is why the insulin injection also, it is taken at certain specific parts of your body. Adrenaline injection also, like I told you, it is injected right into the heart. More complex to develop, requiring rigorous quality control and specialized manufacturing facilities. They are more expensive with longer development times and higher manufacturing costs than small molecules. Patent protection tends to last longer due to its complexity. That means this will be a little more longer than your small drug molecules. Because manufacture is not easy. You will have anywhere between 15 to 20 days for it. Correct? Uses, treat conditions difficult for small molecules such as cancer, autoimmune diseases, anemia, and diabetes. Basically, the non-communicable diseases. And in the case of autoimmune disease simply means everybody have natural immunity in their body, correct? Natural immunity is there. But sometimes what happens is your immunity will see your own body as a villain and will start attacking it. That is what you call an autoimmune disease. Rare it is, very, very rare. Autoimmune disease, anemia, even to some extent diabetes as well as cancer. I told you these are non-communicable diseases. But simultaneously, these can also be what? Rare genetic disorders. Very rare. That is, it is there in the family. That means if your father and your grandfather had sugar or have sugar, don't worry, you are also going to get it. That is the point here. Clear? Generics versus biosimilars. Generics. copies of small molecule drugs made after patent expiry, chemically identical to original, lower cost due to less R&D and marketing. What about biosimilars? They are copies of biologics produced by different biological systems, thus not identical to original but highly similar in efficacy and safety. All right. Regulatory challenges. Biosimilars require more elaborate and expensive testing than generics to demonstrate similarity. Biosimilars, once you manufacture it also, you require extensive testing. Extensive testing means what? You need to test it on different animals. That is one thing you need to do. Rat, maybe even the other little more higher variants, other animals you need, monkey, ape, and all this you need to try before you can actually say that, yeah, now you can use it to test it on human beings. Then, regulatory trends. Biosimilars expensive in India than any other foreign country. It's way affordable there. Ishika, it is largely because in India, the health sector, we have privatized it. We have government hospitals, but we have private hospitals also. We don't have any common insurance scheme. In USA, etc., why is it that people are so hell-bent on becoming a US citizen? Because once you become a US citizen, your medical insurance gets taken care of. You become a UK citizen, your medical insurance gets taken care of. So there, when you are employed and you are a US citizen, medical insurance will take care of a lot of things. So you need not worry about the cost of the drugs or anything there. Getting the point there. You need not worry about it because it gets covered. Insurance will cover all these things. In India, unfortunately, that is not the case. So obviously, when we say here that, okay, we went to a private hospital, and I had my baby there, foreigners will wonder, how are you trusting a private player with health sector? Foreigners will be wondering. They are like, how can you do that? When you ask them, where do you go? No, we go to the normal government hospital. The government hospitals in USA offer the same service what is there in India. What services are offered by a private hospital? That is their priority there. That is easily because of the GDP that they spend there. That is the amount of money that they spend on health sector. I think that is around 4 to 5% or something. In India now, very recently only we had just crossed 1% of GDP just recently. So that is the difference. The money that we spend in India, majority of that is if you're talking about health sector expenditure, when you talk about, more than 80% of the expenditure is what we call OOP, out of pocket. You spend it out of your own pocket. If you have insurance, that is another ball game. If you're employed, your company is taking care of your insurance, means yes, cost will come down. But otherwise, or an average Indian family will go into debt if they visit the hospital. That is the reality today. Clear? Regulatory trends. US and UK working to simplify biosimilar approval using modern analytical and human relevant methods. Example, organoids instead of animal trials. India is considering case by case waivers of animal studies but has not yet updated its regulatory framework. That is, when it comes to biosimilar, nothing like that. It is not that it has the worst medical cost and all. Nothing like that. It is different. It is definitely better than what you see in India. Do you think what happened very recently? Babies dying inside a government hospital. Do you think it will happen in USA? Babies dying inside a government hospital. Babies dying because, or mothers dying because of the quality of the vaccine that was used, the medicines that was used. Getting the picture here. If the same incident, I think it happened in from a company based out of West Bengal. They provided some medicine, and the mothers who had just given birth to new babies, I think in Karnataka, they died. If the same incident would have happened in USA, what would have happened, you know? That company would have been sued. That company would have been sued for hundreds or 200 or 300 million dollars. And that company would have got shut down. In here, what would have happened? What has happened maximum? License would have got suspended. After 1 or 2 years, when the media, when the public, everybody forgets about it, that company will come back. That is what happens in India. Got the point here? Here accountability is not there. Cost, I will agree. Cost is high. That is why I told you, you are US citizen, you are employed, then it is heaven there. Otherwise, definitely it is costly. Nobody is denying it. Nobody is denying it. Why it is costly there? Simple logic. There they don't have generic medicine. Their medicines are sold at the original price. $5,000 for just one tablet. Imagine. $5,000 for one tablet. Who can afford it? That is easily more than 4 lakh Indian rupees for one tablet. How many people in USA can afford it? Very less. Getting the point here. This is the difference. So why it is costly in USA? The medicines are costly because they are having patent system is considered important there. Why it is not costly here when it comes to medicines in India? Because we have generic medicines here. But that is it. That is the only advantage you have it in India when it comes to the tablets. When it comes to overall quality of treatment, the overall quality of infrastructure, medical infrastructure, USA, UK, etc. does a far better job than India. Got the point here? So India is basically thinking how to regulate the biosimilars. For that, what USA and UK is doing is they are planning to go for organoids. Organoids are basically structures that behaves like an organ. You extract the cell, you wash and purify it, and then you take these cells, make it into small tissues, and you apply those drugs there, apply those medicines there, and then you see what is its effect. So you're not killing any animal, you're not endangering human life, you're only trying to see what is the effect of the medicine on that particular cell or on that particular tissue of that organ. That's it. Nothing guarantees anything. There is nothing called as 100% successful. When Harpic also has a very low success rate. I mean, 99.97. Economic and healthcare impact. Without competition, originator companies price small molecule drugs very high. Example, Sovaldi costing 84,000 US dollars in the USA. This is what I told you. There is no competition, no regulation. Drugs will be very expensive. That is the reason why health costs are very high. Moving on. Indian generics reduce the price of Sovaldi to around just $1,000, greatly enhancing patient access. The availability of affordable generics or biosimilars helps maintain access to essential medicines in countries like India, which we are again exporting to nations like Africa. And this exporting affordable medicines is also part of our diplomatic efforts. Because finally, when it comes to when we are competing with, let us say, when it comes to Africa at least, we always have this tussle between India and China competing with Africa. India can never compete with China in terms of the money that is being invested by China inside Africa. $30 million, $50 million, etc. China keeps throwing in money there. India cannot do that. What India can do is generate goodwill, create a very good opinion. And how are they doing it? Through the generic medicines, through affordable healthcare. Affordable drugs. And then we are also giving them cows. Yeah, we are also sending cows to Africa. Especially the dwarf breed, etc. We are sending it there. And what is the idea behind it? The idea behind it is, okay, when that cow gives birth to that first baby, given birth by the cow, should be given as a gift to the neighbor in Africa. So if I'm an African, one African coming from one of the countries there, I get a cow. When that cow gives birth to a calf, that calf I am supposed to gift it to my neighbor. This is basically done to reduce the tribal conflicts in Africa and also to improve their nutrition levels. That is the idea behind it. More affordable biosimilars are needed to increase treatment options while ensuring safety and efficacy. No doubt about it, because the non-communicable diseases burden in our country is rapidly rising up. Talk about diabetes, talk about cancer, talk about cardiovascular diseases, all these, even hypertension, cholesterol, all these are on the rise. Price comparison now. This is the, in one single go, how to look at it. If normal drugs are priced 100%, okay. Normal drugs, that is, normal drugs when I say branded drugs. The generic drugs are priced at 40%, up to 40% lower than the drugs it will be. All right. When you talk about biosimilars also, which are made like non-branded, that also, if you notice, it is 70% lesser than the branded ones. This is the idea. NCRT video is on Thursday, Amit. Couldn't understand, be specific, Akshaya. What you didn't understand? UK SETA. So why we discuss this much in detail is because, again, this discussion is important in the UK India SETA background, Comprehensive Economic Trade Agreement. The India-UK Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement includes Article 13.6, which promotes voluntary licensing as the preferable and optional route for ensuring access to medicines. What do you mean by voluntary licensing? It is an arrangement where the patent holder voluntarily grants permission to another party to produce a patented product, often with restrictions. It does not require the patent holder's consent but depends on their willingness. That means in the recent deal what we signed, it has a provision called voluntary licensing. So if I have manufactured a drug and somebody wants to make its generic version, I should give my willingness, not consent. Consent means obviously I have to write and give it. Here it is willingness should be there. All right. Now let me tell you, whenever India has been investing in these generic medicines, UK and USA has never liked it. They have never liked it. Multiple reasons are there. Because most of these pharmaceutical companies, if you see, they are actually based out of China. Even though the owners are staying in USA and UK. So, they are having their factories here. They are doing investment, etc. They are producing the drug. But what happens finally? India, comfortably sitting in India, India actually produces its generic version. And here comes the next comedy now. Ideally, now because USA and UK has invested in China, USA and UK are producing their medicines, but India is manufacturing what? Doing jugaad and manufacturing generic medicine. Correct. China should have a problem with it, but China doesn't have a problem. Why? To manufacture this generic medicine, you need something called as API, which means active pharmaceutical ingredients. That means the basic chemicals necessary for manufacturing any drug that comes from China. Getting the picture here? The basic chemicals that you need to manufacture the drug, that comes from where? That actually comes from China. So China is happy. Whether you sell the original drug or whether they sell the API, China controls the market ultimately. So China is all happy about it. China is like, I'm okay. But India and USA and UK are not at all okay with it because their companies are suffering. So in the recent trade deal, they inserted this voluntary licensing clause. That means I should give my willingness if another company wants to manufacture my drug. This provision is seen as a departure from India's traditional support for compulsory licensing, which is a legal mechanism allowing a government to authorize government to authorize a third party to produce a patented product without the patent owner's consent under specific conditions. So compulsory exam is there. Chandan, you're already proving that you're unfit to become an NDA officer. All right. One of the first qualities that a soldier requires is a little bit of discipline and to have that thing to wait. I already told at the beginning of the class, wait till the whole class gets over for your non-current affairs related doubts. Stop acting like an Amul baby. Concern under specific conditions. That means government can actually ask a company, even when the patent is still on, that is patent time period has not got over. Indian government can tell you, manufacture this drug. On what conditions? Maybe the prices are too high or the supply is too less. Got the point here? Compulsory licensing aims to improve access and affordability of patented medicine. For example, in 2012, India granted a compulsory license to Natco Pharma for the anti-cancer drug sorafenib tosylate, reducing the monthly treatment cost from 2,80,428 to under 8,800 rupees. Are you getting the point here? This cancer treatment drug, I'm not sure what it was, intestinal cancer or stomach cancer. For that, this drug is used. But that monthly expenditure will come to 2,80,428. And in which year are we talking about it? We are talking about 2012. That means today it will be easily, in today's money value, this will be more than 5,60,000. Easily. We asked a company, Desi company, to manufacture it. Even when the patent time period was still there, we asked them to manufacture it. They manufactured and brought down the monthly cost from 2,80,428 to just 8,800. Got the point here? This is the advantage of generic medicine. All right, moving on. And this is like a classic feature of Indian health system. We see a medicine is becoming costly, we can immediately tell a company, you go and manufacture it. Or we see a medicine is too much in short supply, we can tell any company, you start manufacturing it. That we have let go. Instead, what we have done is we have actually brought in voluntary licensing in this agreement. Getting the point here? Felix, everything is important. Number, year, etc. You need to give an example, 1 or 2 examples you will have to give in your answer if you need to score. If you just write the general points there, nobody is going to give you marks. Those days are over. After 2017 especially, your answers should have data, your answers should have examples, your answers should have maps, your answers should have schemes as the way forward. So much we have to study. Definitely. That is the reason why you don't have, in every gully, you don't have an IAS officer. You only have a handful of few every year. This is the reason for it. All right. Generic medicines no need patent, then why should we consider this? Generic medicine, you don't require patent. I agree. But it is only because you wait till the patent is over. Then you manufacture it. But here, that is not the case. Under compulsory licensing, even when the patent is on, I can ask a company to go and manufacture. All right. So they are telling this is a violation. This is a deviation from all of that. Hindu's article. Can't expect anything else from them. But what is the reality here? The reality ultimately is, like as pointed out by, who is that gentleman there? Abhi. As pointed out by Abhi. So what if the patent gets over? Once the patent is over, do we need consent? As per voluntary licensing? No. You don't require it. Once it is done, you can easily finish it off. No need, Shravan. Exactly the point. Once the patent is over, you don't require any permission, any consent, any willingness. Getting the point here? India's Patent Act complies with World Trade Organization's TRIPS, Agreement on Trade-Related Aspects of Intellectual Property Rights Agreement, and permits compulsory licensing 3 years after a patent grant if public need is unmet. 3 years immediately after the patent has been given, if public need is unmet, prices are unaffordable, or the invention is not commercially exploited. Commercially exploited means I am not selling it for profit. I am only putting my bare minimal cost price on it. Slight cost, that is cost price, transportation. That is all I am putting on it. It is not at all for profit. Getting the point here. The requirement for patentees to report annually on the working status of their inventions has been diluted under SETA, changing the reporting period to not less than 3 years, which may reduce grounds for issuing compulsory license. Again, the key word is which may reduce. No, it is not going to reduce. Basically, these articles, again, whatever is coming in the Hindu, they always want to write what? Things are looking bad, things are looking bad. That is why they are doing this. It is not like that. This provision has been only made just so that to pacify the UK-based companies. Can Indian government still go ahead and actually ask a company, go and manufacture this? Absolutely yes. Why? Because as per TRIPS policy, India's Patent Act complies with World Trade Organization. So we need not worry. Voluntary licenses may not ensure affordable access because domestic companies in developing countries often lack bargaining power compared to large pharmaceutical firms. These licenses can impose controls on the supply of active pharmaceutical ingredients and other restrictions, which is again not true. Because the problem here is, when you read the Hindu paper, etc., you will feel generic medicine is done in some, near the toilet of a public bus stand. People are holding lanterns and some people are there mixing drugs, putting their sweat, and that is how they are making the drug. Manufactured it. No. These generic medicine manufacturers also, they are proper companies. They are proper companies. They also have a factory. They have all the conditions met. Everything is there. That is how they actually manufacture it. Getting the point here. It is not at all true. That is why I have put it in red here. An example illustrating this limitation is the anti-COVID drug Remdesivir, where an Indian company's price under a voluntary license was higher than that charged by the patent holder Gilead Sciences in the US. In a short duration, that drug was manufactured and we were selling it off. So that cost price was actually kept. And if it was actually very costly, again means Remdesivir, if it was really costly means, then world countries would have not taken up Indian drug. Got the point here? It won't be cheaper in quality. By emphasizing voluntary licensing, India potentially weakens its role as an advocate for compulsory licensing at the WTO. The Doha Declaration on the TRIPS Agreement and public health granted developing countries the right to issue compulsory licenses to protect public health, which we still have. We have not let go of it or anything. This is more like a cosmetic. This is more like a cosmetic thing, that is to give something to the UK. That's all it is. It is not at all illegal. SETA also affects India's stance on technology transfer, which means the sharing of technological knowledge, skills, or manufacturing capabilities from advanced to developing countries on favorable terms. So the next thing that the article is telling is, it is basically against technology transfer also. Which one? The India-UK SETA. No, quality is not compromised. We don't have question regarding TRIPS. Question regarding TRIPS had come earlier. Here again, I think you can expect a question in the background of India-UK trade deal. In that background, you can expect a question. Not directly on TRIPS anyway, but yeah, India UK CETA or India's proposed free trade agreements with other countries, how it will affect the health sector, how it will affect the economy, how it will affect the education, the farmers, how when India signs a free trade agreement, how it will affect each sector. That is what you need to focus on. Joint sector. No, it's nothing called there is nothing called as a joint sector. It is basically that these are again normal companies, private companies only that will manufacture it. They are in the business of manufacturing generic medicines. India first advocated for favorable technology transfer in the 1974 UN General Assembly resolution on the new international economic order. India's fourth biennial update report to the UNFCCC states that barriers such as slow technology transfer and intellectual property rights impede the adoption of climate-friendly technologies. What does this mean? See, actually, the developed countries were supposed to spend every year, transfer close to $100 billion every year to the developing countries. For what? For what purpose? For actually helping the developing countries with the adoption of climate-friendly technologies. This has not been coming. Why? What is the reason for it? Again, the reason for it is the intellectual property, that is patent. Because the companies who have produced it, they are asking, why should I give my hard-earned research simply for free to India? So one of the key demands of many of the South Asian countries, especially, see, we will follow all your greenhouse gas emission, compulsions and regulations. We are ready to listen to it. But give us the technology, give us the money so that we can buy it, we can afford it, we can implement it. Developed countries are not ready for it. That is the reality. By compromising on technology transfer provisions in CETA, India's ability to demand climate-friendly technology from developed countries may be diminished. Again, wrong. It is just from UK, not from entire. The CETA has only been signed with UK. Look at the language of the Hindu. This is why I have a problem with this newspaper. And that is also the reason why I take this newspaper again. Because when people keep reading it, they'll say, UK deal, what? It is stupid deal. Oh, that is also stupid. Everything is stupid. It is almost as if only the Hindu newspaper and Mr. N. Ram knows how the country should be run. We have only signed a CETA deal with UK. How can the Hindu blanketly come and tell that it is for all the developed countries? Have we signed a deal with USA? Or have we signed a deal with France? Have we signed it with Italy? No. Then how did they come to this grand conclusion? CETA and technology. India-UK Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement is described by Union Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal as a gold standard with no compromise on the digital sector. Sorry, this is continuous sentence. On the digital sector, which is highly sensitive, has been overlooked in official comments and media scrutiny. It is claimed that compromises in the digital sector have profound consequences for India's digital sovereignty and represent a reversal of India's long-held position at global forums. The key concession is India's surrender of its right to seek ex-ante access to the source code of foreign digital goods and services, which is a 180-degree turn from its stance at the WTO and other forums. European Union. So, what does it mean? Source code. Any software is there. That is, even when you talk about PW, even when you talk about YouTube, for all this, there is a source code. You have to do coding right to make this program completely. There is a source code to it. So, India has been asking, whenever if you're selling any software to India, we want the source code. UK was like nothing doing. We won't allow you to do that. Why you need a source code? That is the next $1 million question. Sharing source code. First thing what it does is, it helps in collaboration. Because once I know what is the source code behind YouTube, what is the source code behind Facebook, what happens? Now I can actually manufacture it. I can use that same source code and make a Desi version of YouTube, make a Desi version of Facebook. Number two, it improves the code quality. Definitely. Because you can actually find out, this code, if I make these changes, I can make it even more better. Yes, they have renewability, Madi. But again, depends from condition to condition. With UK, we have signed CETA. With European Union, okay, I missed out that point. Coming back. Reduces development costs. Very, very true. Once I get the source code means I don't have to again spend on research and development here. I don't have to invest on specifically the coders here. There are people who will code, right? Python, Java, etc., etc. So I need not pay them anything. Cost also will come down. Obviously, it will accelerate innovation. Once you get to know the main source code of a main computer program, be it YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, Insta, whatever, from there you can develop other codes. It enhances security through peer review. That is also true. You can actually ensure better cyber security when the code is shared. Builds community trust. Is good. In a way, you can actually ensure community trust. These are the advantages if the source code is shared. But what is the disadvantage? Disadvantage is, now if I made a code, I made a computer program. All right. There is a code for it. And that code is worth billions. Let us say now that code is basically based off artificial intelligence. Art AI enabled most powerful search tool ever to come out in the history. Images you want, whatever you want, it will do it for you. But I have not revealed how the code works. The moment I share it for free, what will happen? Anybody can use it. Anybody can develop any code that they want. What the Chinese did with DeepSeek. The DeepSeek AI code, they have released it out there. What is its or underlying code out there? They have released it out. So what happens here? Gemini, which is Google's AI search engine, they have invested crores together, billions of dollars together to develop that Gemini AI tool. ChatGPT, even they have invested, what is the billions of dollars to develop ChatGPT 5. What did China do? China just spent $1 or $2 million. That's it. And they made this code and they released it to the public. They are like, here, this is the source code. Use it however you want. So in a way, if you look at it, when source code is shared, it becomes more democratic. But when it is not shared, it becomes capitalism. That is, I can sell it now for a profit, or I can rent out the services for a profit. That is the idea. So if UK is not sharing it with India, you must understand one thing. Even India is not going to share anything with UK. It's a two-way street. It is not that India, if we make a code, we will have to go and share it to UK and UK won't share it with us. No. Simply means no more sharing. Exactly, Janvi. Why will they do it? Why will anybody do it? When there is no economic advantage, why will UK do that? But according to the Hindu, even that is a flop now because India is not going to get it. That is also a flop. Which country will actually sign any trade agreement which will go against their own financial interests? Which country will do that? Source code is the core software code that makes a digital product or service function. Ex ante means beforehand or in advance. Ex ante access to source code means India was demanding the right to examine or review the source code of foreign digital products before they enter or operate in India. Now, in this particular case, UK. This access is typically sought for cyber security, data privacy, national security, or to prevent surveillance and hidden vulnerabilities. India has now given up its demand for the right to inspect the source code of foreign digital technologies in advance. That is what the Hindu is reporting. But let me tell you the reality. The reality is that if Indian data is being taken by any UK company, if they are taking Indian data, they have to maintain that data inside Indian borders. You cannot take Indian data and go and store it in USA, or you cannot store it in UK. You cannot store it in Singapore. If you are using Indian data, it has to come to India only. It shouldn't go anywhere else. That is a standard rule there, which conveniently this author, whoever wrote this article, has forgotten. You have to keep it inside the borders. You don't keep it, you put somewhere else, we can fine you. We can cancel out your services. It is as simple as that. Clear? This concession weakens India's ability to regulate or scrutinize foreign digital services. Absolutely wrong. At the WTO and other international platforms, India had consistently opposed digital trade rules that restricted its right to regulate technologies. India had previously blocked e-commerce negotiations at the WTO. Why it was blocked? Why India blocked it? The main reason was this, the data part. Data, you have to store it in India. That was the main condition. The data, you have to keep it here. No other go. So what will happen now? Amazon, Google, even Flipkart. Flipkart, okay, maybe it's a part Indian company, fine. MasterCard, Maestro, your debit card, credit card, etc. All these companies, they have Indian data, Indian customer data. Now, when I tell them, listen, I don't have a problem with you running your business here, but I want you to keep your entire data inside the country itself. Just give me a minute. All right. So what will happen now? What will happen now is, basically, I will have to invest. I will have to invest in hard drives. I will have to invest in data centers. Data centers you need employees. Automatically employability will increase. That is what happened here. India previously blocked e-commerce negotiations at the WTO. We have no problems if a foreign company is coming over here and setting up their own Amazon, their own website, do whatever you want. But data, you keep it in. This is the reason why we came out with RuPay. I hope you people are familiar with this. RuPay, debit card, credit card, etc. We have come out with it. And right now, we have overtaken the number of RuPay cards that are there in the Indian economy today. It is much more than Maestro, American Express, MasterCard, etc. Which means what? Indian data is inside India. Got the point here? Ultimately, the whole deal is what? Indian data should not go out. Because that is the new warfare. No access to data means data is safe. Getting the point here? The ISRO data is different, Monu. That is different. I am talking about individual demographic data. Getting the picture here? Individual demographic data. So if I want to start a business in India, all I have to do is what? Go and slowly bribe maybe the internet companies and ask them, where is your maximum customer base? Just let me know. So they will look at it and say, this part of the city, we have this many customers are there. So once I got that data, okay, that many internet users are there in this particular part of the city. What will I do? I'll go start my restaurant there. Why? For Zomato, Swiggy. Because if you are using internet, you will download these apps. You will download Zomato. You will download Swiggy. You will use it. Got the point here? India has argued for policy space to protect its digital economy. India opposed rules that prevent governments from requiring data localization or source code access. Anyone. So, if you are not ready, so some companies were telling, see, we are not taking away your data. We don't take away your data. India is like, okay, if you are so sure that you are not taking away your data, give me the source code. If you cannot share the source code with me, put your data center inside India. This change is described as a 180-degree turn because it completely reverses India's earlier position. Don't take it just like that. It is no reversal because either one it is. Either you localize or you share the code. One of it. Foreign companies, especially in the US, want protection for their source code as it is commercially sensitive and proprietary. By agreeing not to demand source code access, India may attract more foreign digital investments. More and more company will come here. More and more company, when they come here and invest here, what will happen? Obviously, employment, etc. will increase. And automatically, our condition remains the same. Data, you have to keep it here. So, you will require data centers. Clear? This shift may also limit India's regulatory oversight and create risks for cyber security or data sovereignty. This source code prohibition applies to all software, unlike in some other agreements, and is a right the US itself has recently withdrawn. Again, they are unnecessarily dragging US into this. Another major concession is granting UK parties equal and non-discriminatory access to open government data, which today is a critical resource for AI and could erode India's competitive advantage and pose security risk. That is, whatever is available openly. Open government data, UK agencies, private as well as public, will get access to it. You can utilize that data. On the issue of free flow of data and data localization, India's commitment to consultations to extend appropriate equivalent disciplines to the UK if it makes concessions to another country is seen as a dangerous regression. Again, chuck it. Again, chuck it completely. Free flow of data refers to the unrestricted movement of data across borders, especially for commercial and digital services. Data localization means requiring that data related to a country's citizens or operations be stored and processed within that country's borders. India has historically supported data localization to protect privacy, ensure law enforcement access, and safeguard digital sovereignty. In this context, India has made a commitment to the UK that if it grants any concessions to another country, it will hold consultations with the UK to offer equivalent treatment. What does this mean? That is, hypothetical scenario. Tomorrow, India tells USA, okay, India tells USA that you need not share the source code. You also don't have to maintain data at the local level. Okay. India gives these two permissions to USA. Then India will have to extend the same to UK also. This is the demand. This is the demand. Got the point here? Why will India give this to USA? And with the current mega monkey as the president, don't expect anytime soon we will sign any deal with USA. This means India is agreeing to consider extending the same relaxed rules to the UK if it gives them to someone else. This clause may limit India's future policy flexibility in negotiating data rules with other countries. Critics view this as a dangerous regression because it undermines India's earlier strong position in favor of data localization and data sovereignty. It risks creating external. Look at their sentences. Critics view. This is almost like that auntie, Sab log keh rahe hai. This is what is happening. Everybody are talking about your son only. That your son is not studying. Your son is simply wasting. That one auntie will come, right? Just to give validity to her argument, she will say, everybody are saying. Who are these everybody? It is only her and her image, mirror image. Nobody else. Just like that, they will use these words. And the moment you read it, you will also feel, oh my God, India has done everything wrong. Absolute bollocks. And look at it. The commitment could reduce. Could. Maybe. It can happen. Or it cannot happen also. That is the point here. It may happen, it may not happen. That is how they put it. But we will never read it like that. We will be like, commitment could reduce India's. Oh my God, India is suffering. This is the feeling it generates. The US, the original proponent of free flow of data and prohibition on data localization, withdrew from these stances last year. Not at all a surprise. Mega monkey and his atrocities. Climate change. I know that article was really huge because like I told you, you are going on getting update after update on UK SETA. That is the reason why we went with it. The next article is pretty much short and sweet. I mean, the topic itself is not so great. Time period from June 24 to July 23, 2025. Rainfall intensity 10 to 15% heavier due to human-induced climate change were in Pakistan. 300 plus deaths, 700 plus injured, 1,600 plus houses damaged. Worst hit areas were Rawalpindi, where 230 millimeter rain was reported in 24 hours. Karachi, Lahore, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Punjab. Observed 30-day maximum rainfall, 22% more intense than without any warming. Absolutely biased. Heavy rainfall. Where? Pakistan. This may suddenly look like maybe, almost the construction also looks like one place from Mumbai actually. Mumbai also has a similar building like this going in V shape. I mean, Almost everywhere it is there, Hyderabad, everywhere. But this is basically a scene from Pakistan. This was basically because of unprecedented rainfall. Monsoon basically. More than 22% more than the normal. Getting the point here. Then, obviously, that very sad video you would have seen. Cloud burst, river coming in, water rushing in, wiping out an entire village in seconds. Location, Dharali village, Uttarkashi district, Uttarakhand. Event type, cloud burst, which created flash flood. Flash flood, like the name says, flash, how you flash a light? Just like that, immediate, instant. So cloud burst is something like the clouds will gather from the valley. They'll get pushed upwards through the mountain. And as they go upwards, they'll be carrying moisture. And as the temperature starts lowering, suddenly what happens? Sudden drop in temperature, the cloud releases the entire water. So intense rainfall it can bring. Maybe within a few hours, it will receive rainfall what it will normally receive in a month. And that can trigger a flood. If there is a river body, water body, etc., it can trigger a flood. Then it will cause catastrophic disaster. 210 millimeter rainfall in 24 hours over small area. It is being said that because of this cloudburst, it could have even triggered a glacial lake outburst and landslide. Glacial lake outburst I have told in my, okay, not here, in my Titan current affair weekly class. There I have told. So you have a mountain, let us say. You have a small hill. Obviously, Uttarakhand, etc., you have a mountain. So this is the place where you have glacier. Okay. You have a glacier, which is melting. And because of that glacier's melting, you have water collected here. This is the lake. This is the glacier. Sometimes what happens is that entire glacier also would have melted and you will only have what? You will only have small thin layer of ice and that water there. That water is filled here. On this region, suddenly when you have a cloud burst, the result will be what? That water will rush down. It will come out and it will destroy everything in its path. At least 5 killed, 50 to 100 plus missing, 164 people airlifted to safety. More frequent extreme rainfall events in Himalayas due to warming. Atmosphere holding more moisture. Geological Society of India, increase in extreme rainfall, cloudburst, flash floods in Uttarakhand post 2010. That is, extreme weather events are happening everywhere. Small area, see, we cannot predict it again. It's like a very small area means what I would say is maybe within a small district or like here within a small village. So what rainfall they are supposed to get maybe in 1 week or 2 weeks or maybe in 1 month, they get it in a single day. Single day. That is what it is. 705 deaths in 10 years from flash floods and landslides in Uttarakhand. That means 70 people die every year on an average in Uttarakhand. 70.5 die every year in Uttarakhand because of flash floods and landslides. Remember that data. And that is strictly because of climate change. Now observe, people. This is the before image. That is when the water came rushing in, destroying this entire village. All right. These are the buildings. Observe this building here. Observe this building here. That is the same building what you see here. All right. Whatever was there in front of it, that is wiped out. And this green building what you see here, that is the green building here. All that in between wiped away. Getting the point here. See, Uttarakhand, why government is not taking any action? It is always a question of what? Should I go for development or should I go for should I go for ecological protection? And whatever you do or you don't do, Himalayas are rising still. So landslides will be there, flash floods will be there, cloud bursts will be there, goes without saying. Goes without saying. The only thing to do is what? remove the people from the entire region. You are going to remove means you will have to remove people from entire Uttarakhand. You will have to remove people from entire Himachal Pradesh. Is it possible practically? Then where will we go and keep them? That is the issue. Cloud burst, you can never predict it in weather forecast. Who asked it, by the way? Mahesh Bunge Patil. You can never predict it because it happens like that. Just like that, it will happen. So sometimes what will happen, you may expect, because weather is becoming very cold, maybe you can expect cloud burst. They can give such warnings, but when you expect it, when you think that it is going to happen, it will not happen. When you think everything is safe, that time it will happen. So you can never predict it. Global temperature rise, if you see, warmer atmosphere holds more moisture. All right, especially in the valley level, etc. Temperatures will be little more higher than the mountains. So there it will grab all the moisture. And as these winds keep climbing up the mountains, they will become cooler, 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 cooler. And it will reach a point where they will release all the rain. Increases probability and severity of floods and cloudbursts. Unplanned development, deforestation, poor drainage, settlements in high-risk zones amplify the damage. Both events reflect a rising trend in extreme hydro-meteorological disasters across South Asia. It is everywhere this is happening. That is the reality. Two Supreme Court judgments here. The first one, Tata Power Delhi Distribution Limited versus Delhi Electricity Regulatory Commission. Delhi High Court, August 2025. The Delhi High Court directed the Delhi Electricity Regulatory Commission to reassess and clear pending regulatory assets owed to DISCOMs. What are DISCOMs? DISCOMs are basically distribution companies. They distribute the electricity. So the High Court basically told, listen, whatever money you have to pay to the distribution companies, pay it. Don't delay it further. Why? Court held that long pending dues were negatively impacting the financial health of DISCOMs and indirectly the quality of electricity supplied to consumers. Case in point being, so basically when you generate electricity from any power station, that is you have a power station, maybe the coal, hydel power, whatever. In Delhi, because it is Delhi, it is largely coal or thermal power station. All right. Electricity is generated and then it has to go to where? It has to go to a household. So you supply it through these lines. When you supply, distribution companies do this job. They supply it, DISCOMs, distribution companies. But the quality of the DISCOMs in our country is such that we have loss, electricity loss in the range of 20 to 25% just to take the electricity from the power station and to transmit it to the household. You end up giving what? We end up losing 20 to 25% under distribution loss. The same value for USA and China. For US and China, if they are distributing the same electricity, the loss is less than, the distribution loss is less than 5%. Getting the point here? The DERC was ordered to prepare a time-bound plan for liquidation of regulatory assets balancing consumer interest with DISCOM. Regulatory assets are costs incurred by DISCOMs but not yet recovered from consumers due to tariff restrictions. That is the next thing. So most of the distribution companies, if you are talking about Delhi, Mumbai, etc., these distribution companies are generally what? Private companies. All right. So private companies should be allowed to increase the electricity charges. But who will not allow it? Delhi Electricity Regulatory Commission will not allow it. They will not allow the electricity charge to go beyond a certain point. Why? You increase the electricity charge, people won't be happy. It will affect the next election. So they artificially keep the prices low. So High Court intervened here and told nothing doing. Whatever they have to get, whatever you have to pay to the DISCOMs, pay it. Accumulation leads to cash flow stress, impacting maintenance, infrastructure upgrades, and renewable integration. The ruling pushes for a faster resolution mechanism, ensuring DISCOM sustainability while avoiding steep tariff shocks for consumers. This has implications for India's renewable energy transition, as financially healthy DISCOMs are essential for green energy procurement. A classic case of judicial activism. This is not actually the job of the judiciary. It is the job of the government to ensure that DISCOMs get their dues. Get their dues cleared. Whose job it is to ensure? It is the job of the government, the Delhi government. But who is acting now? Who is telling the Electricity Regulatory Commission of Delhi that clear the money, whatever you have to pay to the DISCOMs? Judiciary is telling. Classic case of judicial activism. Next case related to mental well-being. X versus Union of India and others. Supreme Court of India, August 25. Supreme Court upheld the right to mental health care as part of Article 21, right to life. Supreme Court has been expanding the provision of Article 21 since the 1980s. From telling that right to life does not mean an animal existence, but it means access to a clean environment, especially clean air and clean water. Then through the Puttaswamy judgment, they came out with what? Right to privacy comes under Article 21. Then later, again it came out with what? Now very recently they have said that right to mental health care is also part of what? Article 21. Directed the union and state governments to implement mental health policies in workplaces and educational institutions. Stressed on the Mental Health Care Act 2017 compliance, ensuring access to affordable therapy, suicide prevention programs, and reducing stigma. All said and done, ours is a country where suicide rates among youngsters are pretty high. Like I told you in my shorts again, one guy basically, I think in Pune or somewhere, he committed suicide, telling that, I'm not a good son. What made him say that, God Almighty knows. Ours is again a country where in the name of an exam, just for getting a few lesser marks or not clearing an exam, students again commit suicide. What for? What for? Because that only means that you are leading a zero-sum life. Ye mili to sab kuch hua. It is like that chapris will be there, right, on the road. With all the multicolored hair, going in Duke bike, very thin, ek brake laga diya to wo udkar, what is it? He will reach space. Those chapris will be there, who will basically say that, agar ye tu meri hai, tu meri nahi hai, to kisi aur ki bhi nahi hogi. That chapris, that same mentality it is. If I don't clear this exam, then I will die. If I don't get this, then I will die. Why? That means your life doesn't have that value of one job or one exam. You have reduced your value to be confined to that one single exam or that one single thing. I'm not just talking about UPSC here. I'm talking about 10th standard, 12th standard, NEET, IIT, JEE, CDS, SSB, every interview. Every exam out there. So the fact of the matter here is we are all actually what? Mentally sick, to be very honest. Because if you're not valuing your own life, then why are you even alive? You have attached importance too much to an exam. That is the point here. God has given you this life. You explore. Amitabh Bachchan was rejected by All India Radio. Why? They basically told your voice is too flat. It does not have power. He would have probably reacted. My voice. Same All India Radio, when Amitabh Bachchan became the Amitabh Bachchan, they invited him back. Please come and, give your, read our news. Amitabh Bachchan felt very disheartened. Mr. Shah Rukh Khan wanted to be an Indian hockey player. But because of his knee injury, he was not selected into the team. So everybody has such a story. Everybody has such a story of rejection, of getting ignored, etc. But if you stop living your life just for that one rejection, what is the whole point? Maybe God has kept something better for you. Who knows? So learn to love yourself. Learn to respect yourself. It is of paramount importance, people. Because one thing that is guaranteed in life is you'll keep getting challenge after challenge. Only if you love yourself and respect yourself, you will be in a position to handle anything. आजा बेटा आजा, I am यहीं पर हूं, आजा. This attitude you should have. Otherwise, what is the whole point? Recognizes mental health as a public health priority on par with physical health. Moves towards mandatory institutional mental health audits and employee assistance programs. Whatever mental health you talk about, never go and tell it to Indian parents. I am feeling a little depressed. I want to go and meet a psychiatrist. That again depends, because if you go and tell your parents this, they will have $1 million solution for it. Marriage. Very few parents are there who will actually understand, okay, let us take her to a counselor. But otherwise, no. Otherwise, most Indian parents, the moment you go and tell, I want to meet a counselor, they will basically come to the conclusion, ये पागल हो रहा है, इसकी शादी करवा दो, सब सही हो जाएगा. Shadi ke baad, after marriage, if you are having a trouble, you are like, no, basically, I'm not at all feeling good, this, that, etc. They'll come with the next $1 million solution. बच्चा पैदा करो, सब सही हो जाएगा. Because it is not enough that we are having one person with insanity. Let us manufacture a few more children and spread the insanity. Brilliant idea. Strengthens India's global position on human rights, aligning with whose recommendations could lead to corporate policy changes, especially in high-stress sectors like IT, law, and healthcare. Obviously, we really need in these firms, because these are obviously the high-stressed sectors. Now, obviously, our mega monkey, US, India tariff. US tariff on many Indian products announced increase such that duties on some Indian exports will rise to as high as 50%, effective 21 days after announcement. That is, in another few days it will happen. India-US merchandise exports is roughly worth 79 to 87 billion. US imports from China is around 439 to 462 billion. Getting the point here. 79 to 87 billion dollars is what? That is the exports what we are having. That means we are having a trade surplus relationship with USA. Trade surplus. That means we export more to USA than what we import. Where our value hardly touches 100 billion. What is China's value? 439, 462 billion. That is roughly, you can put it as $450 billion. When people say, right, we will overtake China tomorrow, forget it for another 20 years. All right. Please discuss about vote chori. Rajiv, is it proved? I'll quickly tell you. Is it proved? Number one. Number two, with whatever evidence which has been presented by Mr. Rahul Gandhi, he has given an example from Karnataka also about within a particular constituency. So that means, and Karnataka right now, who is in power? It is a Congress party in power. So this is what you call to shoot your own foot. The first time when somebody gets a gun in their hand, they will be very happy and they will end up shooting their own foot. This is what it is. So should we cancel the whole election that took place in the state of Karnataka and conduct a re-election? And based on this one public, whatever, media interaction what we had, should we cancel all the elections in the country and then straight away go for, straight away we should put another fresh election? It is understood that there are many fake voters in the country. There is no doubt about it. There are many duplicate voter ID cards in our country. There is no doubt about it. There are illegal people from Bangladesh, Pakistan, etc. have got citizenship in the country and they are voting in the elections. There is no doubt about it. So with all these so-called evidence, whatever he has presented, whatever elections have taken place, nothing can be done about it. Correct? What can be done in the future? You can go for e-voting, electronic voting. Even faster than what I thought. Maybe electronic voting, I was expecting it to happen by 2034. But going by the current trend, I am feeling at least electronic voting will be taken up on a very larger scale in the 2029 election itself. With that, the whole thing will come to an end. The whole thing that we didn't get this, we didn't get that, etc. Because if I was the ruling party and I was able to manipulate the votes, means I will ensure that I have a criminal majority in Lok Sabha. I would have ensured that I easily get 400 plus seats in Lok Sabha. Easily. I will be stupid to actually not allow, that is, I am, botching up the election, and I am ensuring that I don't even have the 50% mark. I should be stupid of Himalayan proportions. That's it. On the other hand, as an opposition leader, if I was the opposition leader, what I would have done is I would have gone and sat along on the road along with the students who are protesting for SSC. Captured the imagination of the students, been with them, inspired them, get arrested, get it covered by the media, so that 2029 at least, if not the government, I will be the single largest opposition party. Simple. But unfortunately, my fate is to teach you all current affairs. Got it? I am telling this only because I know. Now many will be wondering, why is he talking political? I'm not talking political here. This news will keep coming in. As if, oh my God, it will keep coming in. Nothing. Finally, what is the conclusion? Can you cancel the elections? Can you dismiss the government? Is there any provision in the constitution to dismiss an elected government in the country before its tenure of 5 years? Just on the basis of a media conference done by one particular party's political leader. There is your answer. So you need a solution. What is the solution? Electronic voting. You go for electronic voting. What does it mean? Complete digital surveillance. Today's current affair. IT bill has been passed. The new income tax bill 2025 has been passed, which simply means what? Government henceforth will be monitoring all your social media accounts. That is, in other words, Rahul Gandhi's press conference has only done one good thing. And what is that good thing? We are going into complete digital surveillance. You turn, you sit, you stand, anything you upload in social media, everything is going to be captured. Every data is going to be monitored. End of the story. Got the point here? Estimated GDP impact for India. Market reports or bank estimate a hit in the range of 0.6 to 1 percentage points of India's GDP growth. How Indian tariff shock compares with the US-China episode. That means long ago, a little long ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, exactly. 4 or 5 years ago, when during Trump's first presidentialship. No, it is income tax bill. It is not information technology. Please read it again. It is not information technology. It is income tax. All right? Income tax bill it is. Because income tax authorities are being given the power to actually monitor your social media account. Just like how an income tax officer has the power to, on mere suspicion also, that if you're having black money, they can come and search your premises, your house, your office, etc. The same powers have been given to the income tax officials from inspector rank upwards to monitor your social media account. All right. This is smooth, Holly act on which they did, but I am not going to depreciate how to tackle this, sir. Opinion. We'll come to that. So basically, earlier, US and China had this issue when during Trump only. When Trump was the president the first time before Biden. Getting the point? It was there. But that got solved immediately. Why? Because this level of money was involved. US increased the tariff. China increased the tariff. Now, why did that war happen? Why did that trade war happen? So last week I told you, if depreciation of currency occurs, then what? Which sector will it benefit? Export or import? Which sector will it benefit? Export or import? Please wait till the completion. There is no such thing. Puttaswamy and all will go outside. Puttaswamy and all will go out. Because ultimately national security matters more than any fundamental right. Export, very good, Monu. It will benefit export. We saw this last week. When a country, that is, let us take China. China exports more than what it imports. Correct? China is exporting more than it imports. What will happen to the Chinese? What will happen to the Chinese renminbi? If exports are more, what will happen to Chinese renminbi? Will it appreciate or will it depreciate? A or D? Wrong, Balaji. Whenever I feel like to end it, that time I will end it. You can leave if you want. Appreciates. You're all clear on it. So what? But if a currency goes on appreciating, all right. Remember what happened with US dollar. US dollar went on to appreciate, and finally what happened? US became a very large importing country. Because it is easier for USA, because of dollars very high value, it is easier for USA to buy things from outside rather than manufacture it in their country. There are not many American car companies out there. Americans don't buy American cars. That is how it is. Everything they are outsourcing. Why? Dollars very high value. China knows this. So you know what China did? China is exporting more. They cannot stop their export because their market is so huge. Their renminbi is appreciating. So what China did was something very incredible. Very chalak. What they did is purposefully devalued. That is, even when the Chinese renminbi, that is, if I allow free market economics, China is exporting more means renminbi's value should have gone sky high. For $1, it should have become easily 1 renminbi. Or 1 renminbi's value should have been so high, where you give 1 renminbi, you will get maybe $3 or $4. Like that it should be, because look at the value here. Look at how much China is exporting. 439 to roughly around $450 billion of export. That is happening. Correct? So Chinese currency should have appreciated to another level. But what China is doing? China is purposefully keeping that value low. Kept it low. When you keep it low, it behaves just like depreciation. That is, as if your currency's value is less. And when you depreciate, what will happen? Export will increase. Getting the point here? Automatically what will happen? China's export will increase, USA will suffer. Our mega monkey did not like it then. What he did? He imposed tariffs on China. China also did not stop. China put tariffs on USA. So between these two fights between our mega monkey and the Chinese dragon, what ended up happening was India got the benefit of it. Because some of the products what China used to sell it to USA, it is manufactured even in India. We started getting better exposure there. We got access to US markets better because China's products became very expensive. So automatically now, if I cannot buy Chinese goods, if I'm a US citizen, I cannot buy Chinese goods. What is the next other alternative? Buying Indian goods. It benefited us. But in the current scenario, whether what is going to happen with India? Same thing. Indian goods have become costly. Automatically now, the US buyers there will look for alternates. They may buy it from Vietnam. They may buy it from Malaysia. They may buy it from Singapore. Or they may buy it from any other Asian country. And the problem in trade relations is that, let us say I was buying from India. Suddenly I stop it. And now I started it from Malaysia. Now I get used to the Malaysian goods, right? Correct, I will get used to it. Even tomorrow, if you remove the tariff, I may suddenly not come back to India. I'll continue to deal with Malaysia only. I may come back if Indian goods are competitive, cheaper when you compare to Malaysia, but otherwise I won't come back. So, which sectors will be affected here? Gems and jewelry, textiles and apparel, seafood, leather and footwear, electronics and components, auto components, and engineering goods. Least affected sectors will be our pharmaceuticals because that is not our major market. USA is not our major market. Number one, IT and IT enabled services again, they are not subject to merchandise tariffs. This is basically for merchandise. All right, but this will demerit to domestic currency, increase inflation, slow economic growth. Correct, correct, Anshika. Analysis is correct. Pharmaceuticals. If it excluded from the tariff list or protected for policy, immediate exposure is low. Otherwise, some lines could face exposure. Capital goods and complex machinery serving domestic investment. Less immediate exposure unless specific HS lines for exports to the US are targeted. As of now, these three sectors are largely insulated. But again, like I told you, we need to wait. We need to wait because we don't know. New updates can happen. All right. Estimated GDP effect. All these. Okay, 1 minute. The other news, whatever is there, which I have skipped here. This is part of history, what I already explained. Okay. It is just for your information. Just read it. What we really need is this point, whatever I have ticked here. All right. Comparative dynamics, again, this is all for your information. We cannot compare ourselves with China. The only reason USA finally decided to actually stop their trade war with China was $462 billion, man. And nobody can actually provide a good as cheap as China. Technologically, they are very superior. Number one, their manufacturing base is very, very strong. Number two. Number three, their labor is even more cheaper than what it is in India. So because of these three reasons, any product from China will automatically become what? Cheap. Just go through it. Read these. Just read this because we need to wait. All right. Now, coming to the main analysis part. So, right now, exports to USA worth around $87 billion, or let us put it as 100 only for ease of calculation. This is no more there. At the same time, if I look at my imports, I am importing gold thanks to the big fat Indian weddings. I am importing coal because we are an electricity starved nation. I am importing crude oil because again we don't have petroleum. And I am also importing electronic key components. Because of all these factors, obviously my import bill is very, very high. That is, my import bill is much, much higher than my export. Andre 86 years Beku Idu reality. I wouldn't deny that, K. Shivkumar. Import is much beyond that, much more than export. You call this condition as current account deficit. This is what you call CAD. CAD is a condition where your imports are much, much higher than your exports. CAD goes on increasing, let us say. Current account deficit goes on increasing because import is higher than exports. Trade deficit widens even more because your import bill is high. You don't have, USA is your major export market. So this is high time that India starts venturing out and look out for new markets, new places to compensate for this $100 billion roughly. Why do you have wider trade deficit? Because you have higher import. Okay. Oh, 1 minute. Sorry. Just a minute. So current account deficit is there. Import is greater than export. What will happen when imports are higher than exports? Definitely, rupee value will depreciate. All right. And as rupee value depreciates, what will happen to your imports and subsidies? Your imports will become costlier. Subsidies also will increase, especially urea, natural gas, crude oil, coal, all these prices will increase. Price increase, that is a natural corollary. Imports is much higher than exports. Rupee value depreciates. You will have to pay more now. As you keep paying more, the price of all this will increase. Urea, etc. are the main fertilizer used by the farmers in our country. Everything will become costlier. So automatically, when agricultural sector becomes costlier, it will spread to other areas. Higher government expenditure also will happen, because when prices increases, or in other words, when inflation increases, you will have inflation because of currency depreciation. Government will have to increase the salary. Government will have to pay more, which will also increase what? Government's expenditure. So fiscal deficit, if you see, it is expenditure minus the receipts. Expenditure of the government increases, you will have fiscal deficit. That means this is the classic case of current account deficit leading to fiscal deficit. Okay. Ulta scenario. Fiscal deficit of the government is high. Fiscal deficit of the government is very high. That is, government is spending, let us say, more money on freebies, subsidies, free electricity, free travel, free this, free that, free cash for women, children, this, that, etc. What will happen? Expenditure goes up. Fiscal deficit as it keeps increasing. That is, government increase the salary of government servants. Government is giving cash, free cash to people. What will happen to the overall domestic demand? It will increase because people are having more money. They will demand more. More demand means demand will be what? Demand will be there for both domestic goods as well as foreign goods. That is, obviously people will consume more, be it electricity, be it gold, be it food, chocolates, whatever. Foreign products also they will consume. That will lead to what? Higher imports. More imports means trade deficit increases. More trade deficit means you will have current account deficit. This is how CAD will lead to FD. FD will lead to CAD. Together it is known as twin deficits. In other words, if current account deficit increases, definitely it will lead to what? An increase in FD. Or if FD increases also, it can lead to an increase in CAD. Correct, Shivakumar. So automatically, if your fiscal deficit goes on increasing, then automatically people will not feel confident about your government anymore. People will be like, I am not going to come to your country. Your country is not at all looking great. Got the point here? State of Indian economy. This is another heavyweight topic with at least 30 to 40% of the economic syllabus. I'll take this topic in the next week. Satellite internet is also pretty heavy. These two topics I will take it next week because it involves a lot of concepts, people. All right. 2 topics I will take it next week. I will definitely teach it. Don't worry. I'm not going to cut it off or anything. I will definitely teach it. I will share the article as well as the diagram. The PDF I will share it with you. You can go through it. But we will definitely be touching upon these topics next week because it's too heavyweight. Even if I take another half an hour, it will not get over. Okay. Now you can start. So somebody had asked me about one nation, one election. Correct. What is the problem with it? The main problem is basically that problems as reported from the media, etc. What we can see is they are telling that national issues will dominate over the state elections or over the local elections. People will only vote on the basis of national issues. Not necessarily, because if you actually look at the voting pattern in our country, we have seen that BJP losing out in the state election but winning in the national election. So that argument does not have any merit. why we need one nation, one election is, even when we talk about a city like Bengaluru, I think it has been more than 8 or 9 years since municipal elections were held. Elections to panchayat or election to municipalities are never held on time. So this is the only way to ensure that elections happens at grassroots level is one nation, one election. From PW paid batches and referring to your weekly current affairs, so will they cover things for banking sector? Shubham, I must tell you, banking sector per se, we are not targeting, because ultimately this is an analytical class meant for largely for the UPSC students. What I would recommend to you is download the NCERT compilation textbooks that is available in PW website. Now, some of you were basically telling, sir, what is it, sir? We are unable. They are asking for our details and all. Just fill those details. I would have asked for your name. They'll ask probably for your phone number, etc. Just fill those details. Once you fill it up, you can download it. That's it. Graduation, and I need a batch of 2028 because in 2020 my graduation will complete. So I think you can go for Pinnacle or Prarambh. That you can go. I think there is a Pinnacle batch even for 2028. Or you take Pinnacle 2027 also. It is fine. It will get covered in 2 years. Why you want to stretch it up to 3 years? 2 years it will get completed. If you're comfortable with English. If you want Hindi, go for Prarambh. Topic, because I'm asking because I want to switch for one magazine. See, Anshika, any magazine is fine. Any magazine of any academy or institution is fine, because ultimately they are made by people like you only who are preparing for the civil services, who have probably given one prelims or one mains or whatever. So they will also refer the same newspapers, the Hindu, New Indian Express, Down to Earth. Then obviously your Yojana, Kurukshetra, maybe All India Radio, whatever. The source always remains the same. So 90% of the content will be there. Thoda idhar udhar 10% will be there. That you need not worry about. DTA, the tax imposed on individual, is based on the rates and percentage of the country to which you pay tax. Correct? On which country? See, not like that exactly. Mukta, DTA, when you say, it is a double taxation avoidance agreement. Simply means I pay tax only in either one country. So any one country. So I have businesses in 2 countries, means I need not pay my tax in both the countries. That is the point here. So I can choose, I can make a choice there, which country I want to pay it. So generally I will choose a country which has lesser tax. That is, when USA decided to increase their corporate tax, what many countries did was, many businessmen did was, they actually started to shift towards Russia. In India also the same thing happens. India, the cost to even set up a business or even the taxes here are very high. So many of the startup founders here, what they did, they shut down their business here, went to Singapore and set up their business there. Let it come first. Why are you worried about next year? Learn to live in the present. Anup V. Jayan. Learn to live in the present. Let UPSC come out with anything that they want. What is going to happen? Jhatka it will be. It will be a jhatka for everybody. Not that, okay, Anup V. John, only for you, we are going to change the pattern of the syllabus. That they are not going to do. Whatever reforms they have to bring, let them bring it. What is your confusion? Nitin Shashikumar. Are you Malayali cat orange whistling? Malayali aanu mone, endha venda? Sir, will the scheme exist after the government changes? That is left to the government, right? Because, for example, Jawaharlal Nehru National Rural Urban Mission, something was there. JNURM or something. One scheme was there. JNNURM. It is no more there. Most of the schemes where you had the name of Rajiv Gandhi, this. Most of the schemes, their name, etc., underwent a sea change. It's all now prime ministers. No more Rajiv Gandhi, no more Nehru, etc. Mahatma Gandhi, they have left it untouched. That's it. Can I study Yojana, Kurukshetra only and leave other magazine? Vinayak, Bharadwaj, don't read Yojana, don't read Kurukshetra. Stick only to your academy's magazine. Yojana and Kurukshetra, it doesn't cover the entire news. They only take up social, agricultural issues from rural India. Don't trust them. And whatever comes in Yojana and Kurukshetra, if it is really important, it will come in the main newspaper. So stick only to one monthly current affair compilation. Don't go for All India Radio. Don't go for anything else. One newspaper, one compilation. Enough. YouTube पर polity कब तक complete होगा? Maybe in another 4 weeks. I am from medical. Very good side. Class 11 math stream student. I want to become IAS officer. I am so much interested in studying history. So what should I do? Listen, you are in class 11th. Please, for the love of God, focus on your 11th and 12th first. Get into a nice college first. Do all these first. Then we can think about UPSC preparation. All right. There is no point in getting into UPSC preparation if you are not even properly entered into a proper college first. Because like I keep telling you, you need to have a backup plan. You cannot keep UPSC as your main plan. That you cannot do it. You can keep it on the sidelines. That is what you should do. Anybody should do. Get into a job. Parallelly prepare. Once you join the graduation, that time you can come. What is it? You can take a Pinnacle or Titan if you're comfortable with English, or go for Prarambh. That's as simple as that it is. How to clear CA? CA? As in? Current affairs or chartered accountant? English NCRT series yavag irutte sir. English NCRT series will be available every Tuesday and Thursday. Every Tuesday and Thursday it will be available in YouTube. That means tomorrow you will be having the second chapter from the polity compilation, NCRT polity compilation. This textbook you can download from PWOnlyIAS website. The second chapter of that will get uploaded tomorrow. 1 year batch, 2 year batch. Does 2 year batch cover in more detailed class and provide in-depth lectures? Obviously, it will be a little more in detail, and it will be a little more hand-holding type, because the most of the students will be still around the age of 18, 19 and all. Some are even there who are at least 17. So you don't actually have to rush with the topics. You take it like aram se, dheere se, like that you take it. You don't rush towards it. But the other ones, it will be a little more jam-packed, because we will be having your Titan batch, you will be having your optional classes, then you will be having your CSAT classes. You will actually go through a lot of things. Many spellings. You have to keep writing. Chartered accountant. Chartered accountant exam. See, I will tell you nothing but sit and study a lot. Hard work is required. That is the only solution to it. Nothing else. Whatever little bit of books are there, subjects are there, keep studying it, keep revising it. Nothing else to do. Kannada, take political classes or 1 minute. Naatil evideya. Thrissur. Yes, today's lecture is over. Those of you who don't have any other concerns, you can slowly leave now. I don't know any Mata Ganesh. So can I prepare for banking? SSC, CGL or BPSC in Bihar? SSC, CGL is all about mathematics. When it comes to BPSC, that is your state services, Bihar Public Service Commission, you need to analyze the last 5 years question paper and then do the analysis. Find out from which areas maximum questions have come and then prepare accordingly. Harshita Melvani. ಏನು ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ? My English is weak. Keep practicing it. An Mashe, I am a Malayali. 916 pure Malayali. Ideally, Insane Rajput, you are supposed to be reading the newspaper, because you should just go through the content at least, just to know okay, kya ho raha hai. For that reason, at least you should go through it. I'm not asking you to read in depth. I'm just asking you go through the content. Okay, these things are come. Say, for example, something of technology and all has come. Skip it off. That is not required. But some news will be there. Maybe a murder took place, or maybe some issue is reported in some place. That knowledge will help you to score very well in your interview. Because the compilation, what we talk about, it is just the plain facts. It does not talk about the human element there. The human angle or the human story, you get it from the newspaper. So at least turn the pages. Glad to know that IIT is a good choice for Masters in Arts. I have no idea. Message Chaidal, okay or no? Yeah, you can message. NCRT book list for UPSC. It is available in our YouTube channel itself. You can just go for that. Will CSAT be taught in PW in YouTube? I don't think so. It will be only taught for the paid batches. What's your favorite quote and are you a Malayali? Etra vaattam chodikkum magane Vishek Krishna Rajive. There are many favorite quotes that I have. SSC CGL, a lifetime job to go for. That depends about your taste, Ayush. That depends again on what posting you get. Very good, Nature's Beauty. Get into corporate lawyer. They pay you really well. Zoology strategy for UPSC to invalid engineering. Should I join online coaching? See, joining online coaching will be very good only, like I tell you, it is very good in the sense that, especially if you take Pinnacle batch, especially if you're already into your first year of college, you have a UPSC plan. Financially, it will not affect you. That is, you're able to afford the course fees. I would suggest take it up. Because otherwise, with your self preparation, why we can't do it? You can do it. I'm not at all disputing it, but it requires a greater effort from your end. The other thing it will smoothly keep going. Even if you miss 1 or 2 days class or 1 week's class because of your internals or your semester exams, you can still get back. The recorded lectures will be available. How I improve my English understanding? By keeping on using the language. Please take political classes for Titan 2.0. Yeah, if it comes from the top, I will take it up. ECI changed meaning of democracy. Who said that? Did ECI tell you? Don't listen to every crap that comes in the news. Please understand that. When you take up anything, finally look at it. Okay, what is the end? What is the conclusion to this? Any issue when you take up, so what is the solution for this? Don't end up being like a typical Indian husband or Indian wife who will bitch about their spouse. Will complain, oh, my wife is like that. Oh, my husband is like this. Don't do that. Don't do that. That is what any average Indian household will do. A smart or an intelligent or a rational individual should basically say, okay, now you're talking about vote chori. So finally, what do you want us to do? What is the conclusion for this? How do we avoid this? Electronic voting, period. It will come. It will come. It is only a matter of time. Because why I'm so sure it will come is Starlink is going to come to India. Musk's Starlink is going to come. So the point here is, once it comes over here, internet will become even more cheaper. Access to in rural areas will become very, very easy. You don't require big towers for internet now. That tower wala thing and all will go away. So once internet becomes available everywhere, it is very easy to go for what? Your e-voting. So 2029, at least on a trial basis, it will be conducted at least in the southern states where you have more than 90 to 95% internet coverage. It will happen. PWOnlyIAS website. That is where you will get it. You need to fill in your basic details or data. From then you will get the compilation. Handpicked waving. I am not aware about the NDA के लिए offline best है. I am not sure. I'm not aware. I'm a BTech marine engineer. Asmita. Yes, you're right, Asmita. Thank you for that. Donald Trump deserves Nobel Prize, Oscar award, national award from our country. He should be basically given all the awards. All the awards. Please just give it to him. Such as self-obsessed, narcissistic, low on confidence. Amul baby he is. Mega Amul baby. Because people don't practice it properly. Nature's beauty. CSAT is not difficult. It is only because there is a lack of practice. Nyamatullah, if there is no UPSC batch for 2028, go for 2027 only. You can cover it within 2 years. And then you can basically sit and do all your revision and mock tests in 2028. That is the point. No, I was not selected in civil services. My mains marks were low. I got 187 for my interview. I'm saying this in every class literally now. थोड़ा तो show off करना पड़ता है. Always you will tell that best marks what you scored in your UPSC, right? The same thing. That was the best score what I had. 187 for my interview out of 225. Probably all India top 5 marks if you take for interview, I will be there in that top 5. Even the toppers. That is my IRS senior. When I told him my interview mark, he just looked at me and he told, oh my God, because his mark was 145. But he got into IRS because his main score was very, very good. Main score was very good, so he got into IRS. My mains was not so good. I missed out from the list by 19 marks. So bottom line is the same again. You need to do well everywhere, not only in your optional, in your GS 1, 2, 3, 4, and even in your interview. I'm in 11th, then without social, how UPSC? Sit and please finish your 11th, finish your 12th, get into graduation, then we will see. Instagram ID, you can search it, you will find it. Yeah, thank you, Harshita. I think you also did very well with your NEET score. I saw your comment in this thing. I don't know where I saw your comment, but I saw that you had scored some 98.5 percentile or something. Congratulations. If it is true, congratulations. Syllabus completion timeline for UPSC. There is nothing called as a syllabus completion time and all. You need to just simply sit and prepare, maintain discipline. Saeed, you clear the exam and come, and over a cup of coffee, we can have all these discussions. How to manage stress. Stress happens when you know what you're supposed to do and you don't do it. So just go do it. And again, like I said it in my last live, that my philosophy, the philosophy of don't look at your watch or phone or clock. Only set alarms. Only set alarms and just start doing things one by one. Just get up, start doing one after the other, everything. Other than that, nothing else is there. PSI or optional book list is available in the channel, PWOnlyIAS channel. Only if you search, you will get it. Should I go with your lecture? If you go with my lecture, main issues, at least you will get to know how to be pro-government. You have to be pro-government when you go to NDA. You cannot be anti-government there. You are getting your orders directly from the government. You need to take it up. What are your views on reservation? Again, are you related to Mr. Saeed? My views on reservation, you forget it. You find out and tell me the data. What is the SC, STs? Now, SC, ST or OBC, when you talk about OBC, SC, ST, these three communities, what is their representation in state legislature? What is their representation in parliament? What is their representation in judiciary? What is their representation in professional services like engineers, doctors? When you find out that value, finally, you will get to this grand conclusion that SCs, STs and OBCs are underrepresented in every field. Every field. They are the lowest. They are the bottom. That means in spite of the reservation policy what we have had since whatever, the Mandal Commission, etc., nothing has changed at ground level. That is the point. With anthropology optional, any suggestions is starting from scratch. Saeed Hamna, if you're planning to do it by yourself, like I told you, watch the NCRT series and get the books, get all the materials first and start with the PYQs. From previous year questions, prepare topic wise. Banking, I told you, banking actually requires more of one-liners. SBI chairman, SEBI chairman, RBI governor, these type of questions can come for your banking. That I will not be covering here. So you have to specifically prepare for banking current affairs. Campus placement are going and I don't want to attend. Why you don't want to attend, Mr. Devdas? Who is that? Chauhan. Devdas Chauhan. Okay. Mr. Dev, let me tell you why you don't want a campus placement. Let me tell you first thing. Get into the campus placement. Because before rejecting something, first find out whether you are capable of cracking a campus placement. Whether you have the capability and capacity. Once you crack it, get into the job. Get into the job and fund your own preparation. There is no rule that by 22 itself you need to crack, I should become the youngest IAS officer. No. That is not the criteria you should keep. You should keep it in such a way that I will give one attempt. One proper attempt I will give and I am cracking this exam. When it is, I don't know. But one proper attempt I will give. One attempt. One shot. I am going to clear prelims mains interview. Be prepared for that. That is what you should prepare for. This is suicide mission, not attending your campus interview. Then why did your parents put you in an engineering college first place? They should have bloody well sent you for selling samosa and pakoras. How to remember polity? Read. Keep reading. You clear 11th and 12th first, whoever is in 10th standard. School children, please focus on your school. Clear your 10th, clear your 11th, clear your 12th, get into college. When you enter first year, if I am still around, alive, that time, come back. We can put you in Pinnacle or Titan or Prarambh. Till then, please focus on your school days. Are Banke Bihari, my Banke Bihari, I have already told you a million times what to do for it. I have already replied it. If you're deaf means I cannot help you there. How to prepare full-time along with job. Prem Raj Patil, full-time along with job, the basic thing like I told you, once you get in, if you're a working professional, like I told you earlier also, one last time, this is the last question also I'm going to take. Many questions are becoming too repetitive and many people are literally blind or deaf. So coming back over here, Pinnacle batch basically is what I would recommend for you because you're working now, you can easily afford this course, number one. Number two, it is stretched over a period of 2 years. So you will get all the PDFs, all the material, even your CSAT, all of that gets covered over here. So collect all the materials. Now what is your only job? Your only job is to sit and revise. And because you get access to recorded lectures, it is not necessary that you have to attend all the live. That is the way to go about it. Once you have all the material, now you don't have to attend any class. Sit and revise them. Keep reading, keep reading, keep reading. So 2 hours, 3 hours also if you are able to put, that is more than sufficient. You will crack the service. There is nothing like it. And like I always tell, I even told it to my PubAt students also, there is one edge, competitive edge, what a working professional will have compared to any fresh out of college aspirant. What is that? A working professional knows how to handle people. Generally, working professionals will do better. Statistically, I'm talking. Generally, they will do better in the interview. Because you have been handling people throughout from 22, 23, 24. You have been handling people. When you go to the interview also, what should you do there? You are handling a board. That is the point here. First, be in the job. First, you see whether you can crack UPSC or not. One more thing I will tell you. Call me superstitious, etc. But when Lakshmi is walking and coming towards you, that is Lakshmi goddess I am talking about. When money is walking and coming towards you, don't say no to it. I'm telling this from my personal experience. I was working with Singapore government company. Then UPSC came and bit me. Not that I regret it or something, but somewhere, I sacrificed my financial independence. One major reason why I couldn't crack the exam or the reason why my confidence took a nosedive was because I was not financially independent. I was always worried. When I had to take money from my parents, I was worried. I was concerned. Prelims question paper, when I used to say, I was always worried. Oh my God, what will I do if I don't clear? I don't want anybody to go through that feeling. If you have that option to work, for the love of God, go and work. Please go and work. I am not interested. I'm not interested. It is not after 4 years of coding that you tell that, oh, now I'm not interested in coding anymore. That is such an irresponsible way to treat life. What were you doing for the 4 years then? When you knew that you're not interested in it, what were you doing then? So don't talk such things. Whatever you're feeling right now, I don't have interest. It is just because now UPSC is looking very glamorous. Whereas coding looks nothing like that. Always the grass is greener on the other side. Get into your placement, get into a job, then prepare for UPSC, crack it, resign, put your papers. I will also agree with it. Not getting into your job, not even trying for it, and then going behind UPSC, in case you don't clear. Because you never got placed in the campus, no companies are going to take you. Do you even realize what is the current job scenario in the country? A company is coming to your college and ready to take your interview. All right, you miss that opportunity. The next time when you go to that same company, they are not going to even consider you. That time you will know the pain, because why? You know, your batchmate or your classmate who had lesser marks than you will be working there, and they will be earning more money than you. What are you? What is your qualification? BTech, gave 2 or 3 prelims, never cleared. That is your qualification. And now already you have a career break. After college for 2 or 3 years, you didn't do anything. You never worked anywhere. That career break in your resume is enough to get your resume rejected outrightly. Understand that very, very clearly. Otherwise, if you have already asset, crore after crore money is there, parents are like, ja beta ja, they attempt, how many attempts you want, fine. But if your parents are planning to retire, your parents want to settle down, your parents want to now relax, if that thought they have, because you are about to clear engineering, you are about to get placed, then you have no right to do it. You have no right to say that I don't want to sit for placement. You will sit for placement, you will get into a job, then do whatever passion, whatever you want. Clear, people? So with that, let us call it a day. Good night. Take care, people.